Good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. Sorry. Excuse me. Woo. Good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. This is a ridiculously early morning webinar to get your day started off right, whether you're ready for it or not. There's a little bit of mindset, a little bit of business sense, something for your MLM, network marketing, small business, brick and mortar, online or off, to get it up and running like a well-oiled machine. Whether you are a newbie, a seasoned veteran, or somewhere in between, there's something here for you. Welcome. My name is Mina. I'm coming to you from New York City, out in the borough of Queens. I created this ridiculously early morning webinar to push myself out of my comfort zone and to share with you tips and tricks and strategies to build your business online and my experiences as I grow my business online. Let's grow into success together. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is February 10th. Tuesday, February 10th. It feels like it's later in the week. Anyway, as you can see, I'm still trying to recuperate from my cold. I'm fighting it. Excuse me. Got my tea, not my tea, it's lemon. Warm water with lemon, and I have my cough drops. So, cough drops. And I'm doing something a little bit out of the ordinary that a friend suggested, is that she said to take garlic and crush it and put it like in an old medicine bottle. See, it's here, if you could see. There it is. And to sniff it every time. But she also told me to do like a clearing out of my nostrils with saline solution. I think the thing you do with the neti pot. I know I have to man up to that. That is the one thing I have not done yet. I think I have to do it. Or get one of those. I saw the other day in the health food store, they have the saline solution for children. It's like a nose spray. I think I'm going to just get one of those. Or man up and do the cleaning out my nostrils. If you've done that, let me know how that fares out for you. But I think that's the one thing I need to do to clear up my sinuses so I could just move on forward and get better. Well, anyways, enough of that. I'm not going to whine anymore. Enough of that. Well, today, this webinar is always divided into two parts. There is always a mindset moment, and there's always a business sense moment. So I'm going to start with the mindset moment. And the mindset moment has to do with doing more than what is expected to you. And the inspiration is from a blog post by John C. Maxwell, which is aptly entitled, Doing More Than What Is Expected of You. And so, John Maxwell teaches this. If you want to be successful in your career, you have to do what is expected of you. But if you want to be really successful, you have to do more than is expected of you. These days, a lot of people don't meet expectations. We don't know the story behind that. What is the morale or the motivation behind that? But it's there, people tend to half-bake things and just do things mediocre and not only meet the expectations, but they don't exceed expectations. So what John Maxwell teaches is that instead of, if you want to be successful at your career, I'm reading my notes, do what is asked of you, meet expectations, hit the target. That alone will make you stand out. So that is the first step to being successful in your career, is to meet expectations. When somebody tells you to do something, you do it. Make sure you dot your I's and you cross your T's. Meet expectations, hit the target, because that is going to make you stand out in amongst a sea of mediocrity. You want to stand out. But if you want to be really, really successful, you need to work hard and be and then some person. That's what John Maxwell teaches. His inspiration was his father. I think his father was a college president, and he consistently met and exceeded expectations, and that was part of his life, and that was the example that John Maxwell saw and took from. And so he says to work hard to become an and then some person. You know that you do something and then you add and then some, something and then some. You, your spouse asks you to go and, bring home dinner. The kids want pizza. Okay, so you bring home the pizza with all the great toppings, and then some, you bring home dessert as well. An apple pie with ice cream, You're exceeding expectations, even though your spouse just said, no, just bring home some pizza and that's it. But you're exceeding a little bit more than the expectations. You're bringing home dessert, and perhaps you bring home flowers for your wife. Or if it's your husband and asks you, you bring home, I don't know, power tool. I don't know. But you get the idea of exceeding expectations, okay? Make it your goal to exceed expectations. This is what John teaches. Exceeding expectations is where the joy is found. It's where lasting impact can be found. And he gives some questions that you can ask yourself on your next project, whether it's in your job or your home-based business. These are questions that you can ask yourself to help you consistently meet and exceed expectations. And it says here, when you're entering a project, never really go into a project thinking about how you can meet people's expectations. Instead, ask yourself, how can I meet their expectations and surprise them in a positive way? John goes further to ask himself this: where's the surprise when I speak to a group? Where is the surprise when I meet with a young leader? Where is the surprise in the book that I write? And you can ask yourselves these same questions when it applies to your home-based business. Where is the surprise when I give my presentation? Where is the surprise when I meet with a new prospect who is really eager and really wants to start his home-based business? Where is the surprise in the ebook I write or the content I produce? How can I consistently surprise people? How can I exceed my expectations? How can I stand out from the crowd? How can I make my webinar unlike other webinars out there? What makes my webinar the exciting one to attend? How can I exceed expectations that way? Okay. And you may be thinking, well, what's in it for me? What's the benefit? Well, it's servant leadership. What is servant leadership? You're being the leader and you're teaching others to be the same. You are being the servant, you're helping others, you're providing valuable content, and that is what's going to make people know, like, and trust you, and eventually want to buy products from you or join your opportunity or work alongside with you. So that is the benefit to meeting and exceeding expectations. Okay, so John teaches 3 don'ts and 1 do to exceed expectations. And the first one is don't rely on your reputation. A lot of people, they've come a long way and they have a great reputation, and they tend to rest on their laurels when it comes to meeting and exceeding expectations. They feel that, they can use their reputation and not have to exceed expectations. But what John teaches here is that a lot of people who have gained a good reputation tend to forget the work it took to get it in the first place. And instead of wasting energy on guarding that reputation, it's better to invest the energy into growing it anew, to keep growing your reputation, to make it better. Age like fine wine. Make it better. So don't just rely on your past reputation, make it better, grow it anew. And that's how you can exceed expectations, okay? The second don't is don't rely on your relationships. A lot of people, John Maxwell notices that a lot of people have this problem that they do a project, they don't meet or exceed expectations, and they will say, oh yeah, I didn't meet your expectations, but after all, we're friends, right? Well, you don't want to do that either, because first of all, that relationship will suffer. And secondly, if you're consistently relying on relationships, you won't meet nor exceed your expectations. You will never meet your expectations or exceed them at all. And you will you will burn a lot of bridges. You don't want to do that either. So don't rely on your relationships. And the third don't is don't expect unearned respect. You see people out there that are demanding to be respected, that they're demanding this, demanding that. They're demanding that you kiss the ground that they walk on, so to say. But respect is earned when people see that you're putting the work in, that you are meeting expectations and you're exceeding expectations. That is when you start to earn respect. You can't demand it. You can never demand respect. You have to earn that. So remember that. Respect is earned daily when we continually produce and do more than is expected. John Maxwell wrote this, and I quote him. I believe that once we understand that respect is not a given, we work harder and we start each day with a clean slate. It's wonderful to start each day with a clean slate. I'm just giving a sidebar there. We don't get, going back to the quote, we don't get to demand respect today because of what we achieved yesterday. Every day needs a fresh commitment to exceeding expectations. I have two favorite quotes. Every day is a new day. Take a deep breath and start again. And there's another one that is flying from my head. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. I'll find it. I have it. I have it on an Instagram. But it does apply to what I'm talking about right now. Let me just find it. Here. Okay. Every day is a second chance. So the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Those are two unknown quotes that I combined together into an Instagram quote. Let me show it to you. Let's see if I can show it to you. Like so. I'm going to just, here goes. So share my screen. Share. That. Share. Okay. So this is an Instagram that I created. Every day is a second chance. Am I presenting to everybody? Okay. Every day is a second chance. So the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. And it's what John Maxwell is teaching here in his blog post. We don't get to demand respect today because of what we achieved yesterday. Every day needs a fresh commitment to exceeding expectations. So we start each day with a clean slate, and that is a wonderful thing. So look at this quote and take it to heart. Every day is a second chance. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Okay? So here's the one do. The one do of exceeding expectations is to ask questions. Give your best and ask questions again. The only way you will receive clarity on things that you need to do, on projects you need to do, is to ask questions. I was very introverted when I worked in corporate. I didn't know how to ask questions. I didn't know, how to, well, yeah. The last part of my years in corporate, and I think I had a complex, and I was in an environment. I was under new management, and I didn't know how to ask questions to clarify stuff, and I would just do the project. But if you are working in corporate, or if you're working a job and you don't understand something, ask questions. It doesn't matter if you think they are the dumbest questions. No question is ever dumb. Just ask the question and get clarity on doing things so that you can meet and exceed expectations. And this is what John Maxwell teaches us. Do ask questions, give your best, and ask questions again. And he does this every time he has a speaking engagement. He asks the following questions. He asks these questions. Who will be there? Who will be at the speaking engagement? What does the leader want his or her people to get out of it? And how is the morale? John Maxwell is a motivational speaker. He's a teacher. He's a pastor. So he gets asked to speak at different events. So he asks those three questions so that he can tailor his speech to meet the needs of his audience. And so He wants it to have the highest impact when he asks questions. So questions are very important. So we can also learn from this. You know, if you're doing a company presentation, and if you're doing a webinar and you have people register for your webinar, you can send out a survey to them and ask them a series of questions to answer, so you have an idea of what your audience is like. Or if you're doing a home presentation, I remember when I started out in network marketing and we had people come to home presentations, we would have them fill out a questionnaire. It would be a simple questionnaire of 3 questions, just to have an idea of, you know, where they're coming from, where they want to go, how much money they would expect to be earning, just to get a feel of the crowd. And the speaker would look at those questions, and then he already had his presentation prepared, but he knew how to tailor it. He knew how to speak to the people to get them interested and see if this was the opportunity for them. So it's important to ask questions, whether you're in corporate, where in your daily life, in your, you know, in your home business. Questions are very important so that you can meet and exceed expectations. So you can see that these mindset skills not only apply to your business, they can apply to your life as well, with your spouse, with your family, with your friends and family, so that you consistently meet and exceed expectations. So how can you meet? I'm sorry, I'm sucking on a cough drop so I can speak. How can you meet expectations today? Okay, there are some simple things you can do to meet and exceed expectations today. And these are just examples that I see in my random life. And maybe you see them too. Or remember, today is a brand new day, and your goal is to be better than the person you were yesterday. So let me share with you some examples that you can meet and exceed expectations, like return your shopping cart to where it belongs, especially if it's in a parking lot. I know it's a lot of extra effort, but think of it as practice for you being a leader, meeting and exceeding expectations. When we go to Target, you see carts randomly, spewed out here and there, left as is there, and that could be dangerous. You know, a cart can go willy-nilly and bang into somebody's car door and damage it, or it can cause an accident. You never know. Excuse me. So taking the effort to move the cart into those little parking areas is a way of meeting and exceeding expectations. It's more of exceeding expectations, but it's good practice. How about cleaning out the dryer lint traps after your wash is done? A lot of people don't do that. Most people don't do that. I had a conversation with a neighbor in my laundry room the other day. It was a brief conversation, and he noticed that I was done with my drying cycle. I took out my clothes, I threw them in my laundry bag, and I cleaned out the lint traps. And he said, you're the first person I've seen do that, because a lot of people don't do that. They don't clean out the lint traps after they're done. And I said, well, it's my lint, right? I ran the dryer, the lint came from my clothes, so it would be normal that I would, clean out the lint traps and do that. And then he said that there's a lady on the first floor, and I know who it is, that she comes down randomly and she cleans out all the lint traps of the dryers. So that is a way of meeting and exceeding expectations. Another random example. Picking up after your dog. I might be stepping into some sensitive territory, but you have a dog, yeah. Pick up after your dog. I see this a lot in the city, and now that it's snowed and it's icy out there, and I think people think that, oh yeah, that my dog can poop in the snow, I don't have to pick it up. But you see it there, it's nasty, pick up after your dog. I've seen this too. People will pick up the poop in the plastic bags, and they'll tie it up and they'll leave it on the ground. It's the same as, for me, in my humble opinion, it's the same as letting your dog poop there and just leaving it there. Meeting expectations is picking up after your dog and taking it to the nearest trash can and dropping it there. working your leadership muscle to exceed expectations. That's just another random example. If you don't agree, let me know below. But just to exceed expectations. How about this one? If you're at the coffee shop or at Starbucks and you've gotten your coffee and you're at the little station where you can put in the cream or the skim milk or the almond milk or whatever exists, and the sugar and the honey and all the whatnots, accessories, then you can accessorize your coffee. You spill your coffee. Clean up. There's napkins there. Clean it up. The garbage is there. It's all in front of you. That is a way of exceeding expectations. And you say, well, yeah, Mina, they have employees to do that. Well, I'm just saying it as an exercise to exceeding expectations. And when you do these simple exercises of not only meeting and exceeding expectations, that is practicing your servant leadership. That is practicing your leadership of exceeding expectations. Here's another important example. I just heard word of a company that went belly up. And a lot of other distributors from other companies out there becoming vultures and trying to go after the distributors of that company, trying to recruit them into their own company. And a lot of leaders are saying, hey, don't do that. That's not cool. So here's another way to exceed expectations and practicing your servant leadership. You can reach out to those people and offer your help, but without an agenda, okay? Know that a lot of people put their hard work into developing their businesses, and to have their company go belly up, it's kind of an unnerving experience. So rather than being a vulture and trying to recruit them into your own company, no, go out and see how you can help them, how you can, offer some advice without an agenda. And that is servant leadership. And that is meeting and exceeding expectations. Okay? So, be a leader with servant leadership. Servant leadership is to serve and develop leaders at the same time. Okay, that is the mindset moment. I'm off my little soapbox. Now we're going to move into the business sense moment. And it's a very simple article that I found on entrepreneur.com. I love entrepreneur.com. They got a lot of really great articles that apply not only to corporate, but to you building your own business. And this particular article is short and sweet. 3 habits productive people find time for every day. If you were yesterday on my webinar or you watched a replay, we spoke about 4 excuses that we keep telling ourselves and ways to zap them. One of them was that I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this. I'm so busy. I don't have time to do that. I'm sorry I didn't get to call you because I don't have the time. Because I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time because we're so endlessly busy. We like to wear that as a badge. But if you really want to do something, you will make the time for it, right? And you know that. So here are 3 habits that productive people find time to do every single day. And the first one is to become an early riser by going to bed early. I'm working on this. Did not go to bed early last night, but I did get up early this morning, and I'm feeling the after effects of that. What the author says here, let me look at my notes here. He says, the author of this is Daniel Di Piazza, founder of Rich 20-something. He says here, especially you young people, and I've been through that, pulling those all-nighters. Let me talk to you about all-nighters. I remember when I was in calculus, many, many moons ago, I stayed up all night studying for a calculus final. And I practiced my exercises. And I thought I had it. But when I got to that morning, when I got to the exam, I forgot everything. I didn't remember a thing because I did not sleep. I did not rest. And your body needs to rest to recharge and recuperate, and so that you can think better and have mental clarity. So what the article says here is that going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up around 6 is exponentially better than going to bed at 3 a.m. and waking up at 11, even though the amount of hours is the same. And so early risers have a distinct advantage when it comes to mental clarity, acuity, and energy. So what the author of this article says here is that when you wake up earlier, you have a better advantage to be more productive, to be more focused, and to think clearly. So it's good to define a time to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Because there is an advantage when you wake up earlier before anybody else does. You have that quiet time and you can do what you really need to do. You can write that great blog post. You can create more content or create your videos, or you can plan your webinars for the rest of the week or write out your emails for the rest of the week. So getting up early is where it's at. So try to adjust your schedule, going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. Your body's going to thank you for it, and so will your business. Okay, number 2 of what productive people find time to do every day is to start every day with an intention, focus, or meditation. And you can take 10 slow breaths to meditate and think about, what are your objectives for today, or sit in silence for 20 minutes and just meditate and breathe deeply. Get that oxygen to your brain, and then start your day. Tim Ferriss, the author of, the author of the 4-Hour Work Week, he starts each day like 10 minutes meditating, just being quiet, and then thinking about what he really needs to do for the day. So that's the second thing productive people find time to do every single day, right? 3, physical activity. Exercise, very important. Even if it's walking outside to get some air, walking your dog, having a jump rope at hand, doing some juggling and moving around. That is very necessary. That is one of the things I remember that my upline taught us when we started out in network marketing, is to have some form of physical activity. He spoke about meditation. He spoke about physical activity. What was the third thing? He didn't say about early riser, but he did talk about, spiritual aspect of it, being spiritual, meditating, but he emphasized exercise. So exercise is very important. It gives you energy, it gives you focus, gets oxygen into your brain. Very important for your business. So now, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, sorry. Whew, sorry. So we've come to the end of our webinar. That was the business sense moment of today's Rise and Shine. Ready or not, let's do this. I hope you enjoyed this content here. If you enjoyed what I shared with you today, please subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment below on what you would like me to speak about on these webinars. You can visit my blog at minagpolikibai.com and find out more about me. Share this video with others if you feel if you feel they could get value from this as well. Sorry, I'm a little bit discombobulated. And have a happy Tuesday, folks. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a happy Tuesday. This is Mina coming to you from New York City, out in the borough of Queens. Cheers, folks. Take care.